Thank you very much. And as an American, I think I'd like to address the United States. And the biggest concern has been the breakdown of scientific intellectual discourse in Washington, D.C., which affects trade, but affects everything. And so I guess I would say the most critical issue for us is science. And I want to stress this in two respects. One, there is a very common misperception that science and technology are related. They're in fact opposites. Science is the pursuit of truth through a methodology which is essentially philosophical, of ascertaining what is accurate or inaccurate through a rigorous intellectual process. Technology is something that produces an effect, something like what we generally label as AI, which can be scientific or it can be the complete opposite. And we need to focus on science, especially in the United States, which is now cutting back so severely on scientific research. Also, in the American case, America has fallen into this unfortunate trap of stressing democracy and downplaying science. Democracy, the reflection of the opinions of large numbers of people, is critical for policy, but science is not determined through voting, and scientific truth is not determined in that manner. And so stressing in the United States a scientific approach, whether it's to policy in general, to trade, and to other aspects of our administration is absolutely critical. Science is a basis for cooperation with China and other countries. I would say it should be the center for American Chinese cooperation, would be basic science research. Science should be the basis for policy, especially encouraging scientific thinking and rational intellectual behavior on the part of citizens, something which the United States is moving in the opposite direction. So I don't criticize Donald Trump on his trade policy, but I am very critical of him on his radical anti-intellectual position, which is extremely dangerous for the United States, especially on the issue of education for average Americans. Also, science is critical when we're addressing the very fundamental problem of the concentration of wealth. So increasingly, a very small number of people are able to control large amounts of information and assets, and they are using this as a weapon. The most effective way to respond is to demand a scientific dialogue based upon the confirmation of truths, and that is really the basis for the long-term interest of the United States, but for humanity as well, since we have to think long term. So the question is going to be where we're going to be in 100 years, in 200 years. And I think if we look at it in those terms, a lot of the policies being pursued today will be catastrophic. And finally, I would say that science is a way to avoid the drive for war, which is increasingly based upon technological solutions. And technology obviously can play a very important role in our society, but if it does not have a scientific basis for confirming its application to society and its function, then it can be extremely dangerous. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Emanuel. And